It's time again this week that we get to visit with our Nebraska Extension Agricultural Climatologist, Al Dutcher. I'm Sheila Peters, joining you on the Rural Radio Network. And Al, an absolutely beautiful week, a little bit windy, but it is Nebraska. Otherwise, pretty darn nice out for our guys continuing to roll in the fields. Will they be able to do so weather-wise headed into this weekend and next week, though?
Well, I think there's a little bit of uncertainty in regards to precipitation as we go into this weekend and early into the next week, as we have an upper level low that's moving in the Pacific Northwest, and it's expected to gradually move its way into the northern plains and shoot pieces of energy out over top of what is basically a zonal flow across most of the central United States. So as these waves move through, we'll have scattered chances of precipitation off and on as this week progresses. And then we'll probably see some warmth coming in later next week. But in the details, the biggest issue is going to be when will we see the convection and who's going to get the best shots of it. And as we go into tomorrow, into Saturday, basically the best opportunity for moisture is going to be well to our south as we have a low pressure system over south central Texas. It is going to throw some precipitation up into western Nebraska as that wave comes out, but it looks like it dies and moves eastward. So I wouldn't expect a lot of moisture, but Sunday we start to see that trough digging a little bit in the western United States, and we do show surface lows that are going to start to develop across the high plains region. But really there's nothing of any significance and strength-wise to lift moisture up into our region, so really just maybe a slight shower here and there. Monday, though, the energy looks like it starts to transfer a little bit more into the northern plains, and we get a surface low development in Texas. And that should start to lift up moisture. So the main interactive band of precipitation right now is scheduled to be across the Dakotas and northern Nebraska, and that wave will start to dip down into northern Iowa as we get into Tuesday with high pressure filling in behind it. So precipitation across eastern and southeastern Nebraska is probably going to be very lacking with this precipitation event, as most will be across the northern plains and eastward of us. By Wednesday, all of that energy moves and transfers itself to the eastern seaboard. We start to see some ridging taking place across the northern plains. We do see some surface low development down in the southwest, but there's just nothing for moisture-wise to feed on. So it looks like high and dry and warming conditions as that trough in the east moves out on Thursday. Another piece of energy does start to be shown by the GFS model shift down into the northern Rockies as we get into late Thursday, and it is projecting a surface low development late in the day. So this was the best opportunity during this week to see some good thunderstorm development, particularly over the southwestern one half of the state as that energy comes out into the central United States. And then on Friday, we get a main surface low development in southeastern Colorado. And we'll watch for the moisture with this system because it does right now project some pretty significant thunderstorm activity across Texas and also across southern Montana. And eventually that system is going to move out into our region. So as we go into next weekend, I would not be surprised we'll see some severe weather here across the central plains. The question is, will it be to our north? Will it be over Nebraska? Or will it remain to our south? And that's an open-ended question at this standpoint. Once this system passes by, as we are going to see a pretty significant warm-up with ridging taking place from the west trying to build into our region in a very deep trough across eastern United States. And if we go further out from the model standpoint, it looks like as we get into the middle of the month, it looks like a very active pattern starts to invade the western United States, and that usually translates eastward by about 7 days to very active convective weather across much of the central and southern plains. So let's watch out as we get to the middle of the month. Things might get really interesting here across much of the central United States, but we should have a significant amount of our planting wrapped up by then.
All right. Thanks so much, Nebraska Extension Agricultural Climatologist Al Dutcher. You're listening to the Rural Radio Network.